The election is tomorrow, and yet still somehow some folks have ballots in hand. Don't do that. Make sure you get your ballot in today. Take it to a drop box, especially if you happen to be in the city of Seattle, because my next guest is hoping to ensure that we don't take several steps backward as she's running against an incumbent, a socialist. Joining me in studio is our friend, Racheal Savage. Thanks so much for coming down.
Yeah, thrilled to be here. Thank you.
You seem to be in an unusually good mood given the nightmare it must be to run for office.
Well, I think I've meant to do this. I'm having more and more fun as the campaign goes on.
What makes it fun?
I love the debates. Mm-hmm. I love the forums, although I love them so much that my opponent, Alexis Mercedes Rink, she canceled last minute on 4. So I just love asking her the question and asking her to defend her record and defend her policy. And, she doesn't want to do it. And she's not used to anyone questioning her. But I love getting some common sense on the airways and in the forums and out to the public, the city of Seattle, the voters.
You don't look like a Republican.
I know.
So explain your ideology.
Yeah, well, I'm a walk away from the Democratic Party.
Yep.
So I was a classic liberal, never a progressive.
That explains all the tattoos.
Right. And, when the crime, the disorder, the severe mental illness came to my doorstep in Capitol Hill, I've never seen people in such bad shape. So I started asking myself, who's running this place? Mm-hmm. And what I saw is were progressive policies and liberal policies. And I feel like the Democratic Party has been taken over by the far left. And I started to look at principle. And I have always believed in law enforcement. And I have always respected the police and supported the police. And I believe in fiscal responsibility. And I realized I'm a Republican.
Well, welcome to the dark side.
I love it. It's been wonderful.
Let's talk about something that is obviously really important for folks who live in, but also work in Seattle. The drug addiction crisis is clear, especially when you go into downtown Seattle or if you go into the International District or Capitol Hill. It's everywhere. It's a huge part of the homelessness crisis. You are a former addict.
Yes.
You're in recovery 35 years?
35 years.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
How does that inform your approach to this issue?
Well, I'm abstinent continuously for 35 years. And I've also helped addicts learn how to stop using drugs and build a life worth living in those 35 years. So that's what I do in my spare time is I help addicts get clean. And what I know is that addicts don't get abstinent if there's no consequences. Mm-hmm. And that just giving addicts whatever they want is enabling. And that's what the city is doing. The mayor and the city council, they are in over their head. They need someone that knows about addiction and how to treat it on the city council. We need consequences for people that are committing crimes. And this is the mechanism. Arresting for public drug use and the crimes associated with addiction, stealing, burglaries, selling stolen merchandise, prostitution. These are all drug-related crimes. And that's the mechanism that we're going to use to get people to go into treatment. So they can either have 364 days in jail or long-term residential treatment, which I hope that we'll be able to build. And I'm confident we can if we change the way we're spending the money. So everybody wants to know, where's the money going to come from?
Yeah. Well, where is the money going to come from?
We're going to reallocate funds. No more housing first. And the federal government actually has given us a wonderful gift in this executive order that President Trump has put down on crime and disorder in our streets. And also, HUD, the policy going forward is no more housing first, no more drug-tolerant housing, no more free housing for drug addicts that are using in our cities. And this is a good thing.
Housing first as a model is actually aptly named. We're going to put you in a house first before we address any of the underlying causes of your homelessness. And when you're there, we'll give you the access to services. On paper, it sounds like a model that could work. But the reality is I've got an entire chapter of my book, 2 chapters on this very topic. Yeah. It does not work. There is no data to suggest long-term that this actually does anything more than give a drug addict a place to continue to do drugs.
And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing in the streets. And without law enforcement, we're seeing these addicts running wild in the city. They're stealing from the grocery stores all day. They're selling the stolen merchandise. This must stop. And there's no one on the city council right now. This is what's disturbing to me. Or either mayoral candidate who are saying that they're willing to arrest for misdemeanor crimes such as
Sarah Nelson does endorse that.
I think she said it. Actually, She finally said, I will arrest. And I hope I've been a good influence on her. And I think we'll work very well together on the city council.
She's a very moderate Democrat. I'm a big supporter of hers on this council. I think she would be phenomenal. But the reality is she's in trouble right now, as are you. So how do you turn out the vote on a very low turnout election so far? The numbers in King County in particular are disturbingly low as of today. Day of votes always trend further and further and further to the left.
Well, I know I'm the underdog. I get it. But I think the citizens of Seattle are tired of living in a lawless city. I think they're tired of the containment zones that have been created by this enabling and the housing first. I think they're tired of the taxes.
I'm going to push back on something. I don't know if they're sick and tired of it. I would have thought that. But when you look at the polling, when you look at this resurgence of the same kind of progressive ideas and people that we've put into power and influence several years ago, leading to this very nightmare that we were living for several years, does that suggest that they are not sick and tired of it? Or do they not know, are they not connecting the dots as to why this is happening? Who's responsible?
I think they're not connecting the dots. I don't think that, and this has been a big part of my campaign to let people know, the city is giving drug addicts free apartments and not giving them any requirement to take treatment or to stop committing crimes. I don't think people know that. The public drug use law needs to be amended to allow for police to arrest. People don't realize that the police aren't arresting for misdemeanor crimes associated with drug use. I think they just don't know. Right. They don't know. And so if they know the truth, I think they'll vote differently. And I think that the city council didn't do enough for public safety. And so people are, they want to vote differently. Unfortunately, some of them are going to vote farther left to vote differently. But my hope is, I'm the first Republican in recent memory that's made it to the general election. And so I believe that the citizens of Seattle do want something different. And my hope is they'll come out when it's them and their ballot and they have the choice between me and my opponent, Alexis Mercedes Ring, who wants to raise taxes, who wants to keep this failed housing first experiment going, who doesn't want to arrest people for crimes and get them into long-term treatment. I think when they have that moment with the ballot, that they're going to vote Savage, they're going to vote different.
How did you get into recovery? What was that path for you?
Well, we used to always stay in recovery rooms, jails, institutions, and death. And so I was afraid of that. I knew I was going to die. I was addicted to methamphetamine. I was addicted to alcohol. I had a cousin that went to prison from drugs. So I knew that jail was waiting for me, or that I would go crazy because methamphetamine makes you go psychotic, or that I would eventually die. And so I saw that those consequences were waiting for me if I continued to use drugs. This is what we've taken away in the city of Seattle. And not only do we have locals that are strung out on the streets, we have people coming from all over the place.
It's a lot.
Knowing that even Bruce Harrell said 70% of the people that are on the streets aren't from Seattle. And
now, I don't know if I believe that number, but it's certainly a high number. And it's funny because Bruce Harrell has said this as of the last several months, at least. The old talking point coming from the city, not just from him, but from council members, from previous administrations. Oh no, these are all our own. They're not like, that's not true. I've spent time talking with folks. I go out or have gone out with officers into the field, and I hear them say, we're from Nevada or from California or from Oregon. This idea that they were always just like local is just so nonsensical. Why do you think all of a sudden they changed the talking point?
Well, I mean, the difference between Katie Wilson and Bruce Harrell, at least Bruce Harrell is talking about, hiring more police officers. He has hired more police officers. He's admitting that, okay, some of these people are from out of town. My hope is when I'm on the council that I'm going to encourage to arrest for public drug use. offer jail or treatment. But if they're not from here, if they've only been here for 6 months, a bus ticket home to where they came from. We don't, as a city, we can't afford it, and we don't have the responsibility to take care of whoever comes. But Katie Wilson wants to create all these shelters and have the right to shelter in the city of Seattle, which is going to make us like New York City, where we are having to give anyone that comes here shelter. And I think it's a disaster for the city of Seattle.
So she's going to win, it would appear. And again, something can change at the last minute. We'll see. But as of now, she's going to be the next mayor. What is the headline on Wednesday, if that's the truth?
Man, I hope the headline is, and Racheal Savage has an upset in Seattle, because Seattle needs me on the city council if Katie Wilson wins this election. Every single day, I will be fighting for recovery for these addicts that are on the street, long-term residential treatment for the mentally ill. I mean, our mentally ill are on the street living like animals, and enforcing the law. So I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going.
I certainly hope so. I cast my vote. I cast it for you. I wish you the absolute best of luck. Again, Racheal Savage needs your support. Make sure you get that ballot in based on whether or not you're listening to this as it's airing now or tomorrow on the podcast. Take your ballot into a ballot drop box or go directly to an elections office. Don't put it in the mail at this point. It almost certainly won't get counted if you do, just on the timing. Take it down, get that ballot in, and hopefully on Wednesday, we will have a headline that says, okay, fine, Katie Wilson won, but also Racheal Savage pulls off this upset. So we wish you the absolute best of luck.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're listening to and watching The Jason Rantz Show on Seattle Red and SeattleRed.com.